Hey YouTube, this is a brief comparison between the Fiio M11, the Fiio BTR5, and the Shandling UP4. Um, like many people watching this video, you might be interested in maybe looking at a digital audio player, which is an M11, or a Bluetooth DAC amp, which include the UP4 and the Fiio BTR5. A lot of times I was wondering if a DAP or a dedicated audio player such as the Fiio M11 would be, more beneficial than having a smartphone and a Bluetooth dongle, or a DAC amp such as the BTR5 or the UP4. And I did a lot of research online, and there's really not a lot comparing these two. There's a couple of videos, a couple of reviews that kind of go through with the Fiio BTR5 and the UP4. And then there's the Fiio M11. And you might be wondering why include the Fiio M11. It's not really, it doesn't pertain to a Bluetooth dongle or DAC amp. But in my use case, I think it's worth comparing, and I'll tell you why. All right, so before I start the comparison, I just want to put a disclaimer that I only use the 2.5 balanced cable output of these devices. I know they're single-ended, but this is based only on the balanced output on all these devices. Okay, so to begin, for the Fiio M11, I have it right here. It's a beautiful device, really impeccable. I mean, it just feels weighty, feels premium. Really impressed with the build quality. The screen's nice. I mean, it's pretty fast, but it's not like fast like modern smartphones. So when I was looking at reviews and reading articles, one of the selling points is that it's really fast. However, compared to the S10s nowadays, it's not as fast, and I was kind of taken back by that. The screen, again, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, if you can watch YouTube on it. It's a great multimedia device. I mean, you have Android, you have the Google Play Store, so you can look up apps on there if you want to get Facebook on there. If you want to get like I said, YouTube or any other kind of player on here, which is nice. I mean, the Fiio player is, perfect enough itself. Really nice. I took out my memory card or my SD card, so actually it's still in there, but I mean, it scrolls, it's fast. It has a scroll wheel on the side. That's probably my favorite part. If you use the scroll wheel, it goes, you can control it with this finger. It's kind of nice. Now, this is really powerful too. It's single-ended, it has 195 milliwatts at 32 ohms per channel, and balanced, I think Fiio lists it as 550 milliwatts per channel at 32 ohms. Very powerful. However, when I was listening to it, it sounded kind of lean. It's powerful, but nothing, it sounded lean. It wasn't sparkly to me. It just didn't engage me as a listener. Most of the time I kind of felt bored listening to it. It does sound very good. I mean, if you're going from not listening to anything, experiencing a THX 789 amp, going to this, you're gonna be blown away by this. This sounds amazing. However, compared to other kinds of high-end listening, it's kind of lean. I just wasn't really engaged as much actually as the BTR5 and the UP4, which blows my mind because I thought this thing would absolutely destroy those two, hands down. But that's not the case. I think actually this is the weakest of the three, sound quality wise. I'm just not impressed. I was kind of taken back by it. Also, the bulkiness gets kind of in the way. I really don't see myself holding or carrying two devices like this, along with my smartphone, because this is a heavy device. As much as it feels premium and nice to hold and solid, it's bulky. I wouldn't really say it's pocketable in the jeans. Maybe if you're wearing cargo shorts, yeah, put that in there. But this just, I can't really see myself carrying both devices. Hence why I'm looking at the Bluetooth DAC and amp, both the BTR5 and the UP4. All right, so now we're moving on to the BTR5. BTR5 is very handsome device. I mean, it comes with this case, the clip-on case. You can take it out easily. I mean, it's such a nice device. It's small, it's compact. I mean, it's hi-fi on the go. This thing's powerful. I don't know how it's so powerful because the specs don't really demonstrate how powerful it is. If you're looking at it single-ended, it has both 2.5 millimeter and 3.5 millimeter for your headphones. But I mean, single-ended, I believe it is 80 milliwatts per channel, and then the balanced mode, it is 240 milliwatts per channel, or per 32 ohms. And this thing is just like, it blows my mind. For $100, I think 110 it is, 100, I think maybe 120. But regardless, like, this is like absolutely worth the price. I was just like, when I first started getting audio, this is one of my first like Bluetooth like amps I got, and you know, I couldn't believe it. I was like $100, and this thing can power. I mean, this thing has no power, no problem powering Sandaras. The Focal Elysia, I mean, that's 32 ohms. It's not gonna be that hard to drive, but I feel with the Elysia, if you get more power, it just sounds way better than you know, single-ended and off a smartphone. This also powers HD650s, no problem. I mean, this thing can push it. I think compared to the M11, this is just, it's so much more intimate, so much more engaging, which still, again, it blows my mind. I mean, this thing is 1/4 of the M11, and I get it. The M11, has a lot more going for it with like its capability as a device. I mean, you can store songs on it. You can use it as a multimedia player. This is just strictly streaming from your phone or hardwired as a DAC amp. I like to hardwire this to my computer. It's amazing. I mean, it's 32 by 384 bit, which is, I mean, it's more than you need for you know, high-end streaming. But this thing on the go, it's amazing. It fits easily in the small pocket in your jeans. I mean, it's so portable too. I mean, IEMs, this thing could play any IEM. I mean, even hard to push headphones balanced, like, it is phenomenal. It'll play what you need, and it'll play pretty well actually. The battery life's pretty good. Single-ended, I think it lasts about, you know, 10 to 11, 12 hours. Balanced, it's a lot less, and it does drain pretty quick with balanced, because I mean, it's pushing the headphones pretty hard. But like I said, I've had no issues like powering my Sandaras, and that's quite the accomplishment, because, you know, those are as easy as they look on paper to drive, you know, with their specs. They are pretty power hungry and they need the power. So like BTR5, super impressed. I mean, these are the buttons on the side. Sorry, I should have showed you that earlier, but they have the menu button, or the power button, that switches between menus. It has a screen, which is nice. You know, I like it. Some people complain about the screen because, you know, they're like, well, I'd rather have more battery life than a screen. But I like the screen. I mean, it shows, you know, your gain, so you can go high to low. It shows your other, you know, charge and all that. It shows your EQs. The only thing that's negative, though, is that if you have LDAC, you can't use the EQ setting, which is fine. I mean, I don't like the EQ as much. I kind of like listen, you know, stock sound. But I mean, if EQ is your thing, you can't really do it over LDAC, which is its main weakness. So hopefully there'll be an update in the future. It's been a while, still haven't seen one, but who knows? I do heavily recommend this over the M11, especially for the price. I mean, it's 1/4 of the price. It's about $100 compared to 400. And I mean, this can easily be carried with in your pocket with both your smartphone and this. It's a no-brainer to me. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have the Shandling UP4. This is also a beautiful device. It's got the 2.5, 3.5, and the mode button. A lot of it's done by a single press button on this side right here. It's very similar to the BTR5, about the same size. I kind of like the shape of this more. It's more ergonomic, especially the one button press. I mean, that scroll wheel. I mean, it's just so nice. I definitely like this device. Like I said, that scroll wheel is just like, oh, it's so nice to have a physical button to control the volume, scroll, I guess. This is also very powerful. It's not as powerful as the BTR5, but I mean, it does enough to sound good. This, I believe, let me get the specs right. Single-ended, it's 71 milliwatts per channel, and it has a boost mode, which is a dual DAC mode. If you press the mode button twice up here, it switches between the DACs and the amps, or the gains, I should say. And if you have boost mode, it uses a dual DAC, which boosts the single-ended to about 91 milliwatts per channel. Now, that's nice to have in cases if you have single-ended. It really helps power some headphones, from the 71 milliwatts per channel. And then balance, it's 160 milliwatts per channel. I mean, I think this is just as good as the BTR5. I know a lot of people want to know like which one's better. It's very hard to say which one's better because they both are very good at what they do. To compare them, I would say that the BTR5 is more brighter. It's still neutral, but more brighter. It has very impactful bass, very wide soundstage. But compared to the UP4, I would say the UP4 is more, it's more relaxed. It's more smooth. I feel like the bass, there's plenty of bass, and I feel like it's better controlled on the UP4. I think it's more emphasized on the BTR5, but I think the UP4 is more controlled. I think it's better handled on the UP4. These can also power Sandaras very well. No problem powering them. The Elysia also, I think the Elysia actually sounds better on the Shanling UP4, and then the Sandara sounds better on the BTR5, just because the BTR5 puts out more power than the UP4. However, I use the UP4 more than the BTR5. Just like I said, the scroll wheel is it's so nice and it's so ergonomic, and I feel like they sound they're able to drive headphones in a similar way that, if you buy either of them, you're going to be happy. There's a lot of people that say, BTR5 absolutely kills the UP4, but I mean, I can't agree with that. I think they're both solid devices and are very good at what they do. I was afraid the Shandling wasn't powerful enough to drive, like the HD650s, the Sandaras, the Elysias, but it powers it very well. I don't see any issue using the UP4. I do think, though, that the BTR5 is more tuned for audiophiles, and UP4 is more of a fun kind of sound in a way, which is ironic because I said the BTR5 is more brighter and has a better bass, or more bass, but I still think that kind of leans more towards the audiophile sound than compared to the UP4. But again, I think out of all of the devices, I'm pretty sure UP4 is my favorite. Not that it's the best. I'm not saying it's better than the BTR5. What I'm saying is I love using the UP4 above the other devices. I was just very surprised about how well these small DAC amps are and can handle compared to the M11. I mean, M11's a brick. I thought it was gonna be very powerful, but I think it's the weakest. Like I said, the weakest sounding out of all the devices. I think the best sounding device I would say is the BTR5, and then the UP4 and the M11. However, the UP4 is my favorite out of the three, if that makes any sense. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Let me know how I did in the comments, and look forward to the next video. Thank you.